Hey everybody, so I just wanted to do a little check-in, little update kind of a video. It's been a little while, been busy, but I've still been working away when I could. And if you can tell, I don't know if you've noticed in my car before, my floors were mostly gone. I've got floors again, a big step for me, right? Um, what I wanted to talk about though was how easy doing these floors were because I've watched as many videos as I could on people doing floors and Spitfires, and it seems like it's a real struggle. And I was doing mine a little differently. I wasn't replacing my outer sills here. Both of mine were in good order. My doors lined up. My gaps were good. I didn't want to. I didn't want to cut that out. I wanted to maintain as much of the original car as I could, but at the same time, I had to get everything out from the inside, where normally you sort of do it the other way around. And so the pans that I got these used, and they're complete pans, but they were two pieces front and back. And I haven't seen the back ones like that before. They might be, I don't know if they're overseas, but these were somebody had a car, a project, they sold the car, but they still had this up in their attic. And I got them for a good price and they fit beautifully. But the nice thing is, if you remember on one of my other videos where I was trying to salvage my outer sill, it was very like painstaking of trying to take everything off from the inside without disturbing that outer sill. And I still left a lot of the pan in place to go ahead and give some structure to the car while I was go ahead and peeling that stuff apart. But once that was out and everything was good, then I was able to come in here. Let's see if I can get you in here. I was able, man, I can't find where I'm at. There we go. Good enough, right? I was able to come in and just replace the front section of the car using this cross member to get my height and everything like that. And that added structure to the front part, which then let me come back here and do all this. And you can see everything lined up beautifully, right? And so the point is that if you're doing these pans, if you're struggling on getting the entire pan in there, maybe go ahead and just zip it right across underneath the cross member, because that's where these split is, right in the center of the cross member. It makes it to where now you've got a lot more control. And especially when you're trying to get everything to fit nice right around here where that slope is, right? Nothing fits right. Nothing ever fits right. But you can go ahead, you're only working with part of that shape, because trying to move when you have that entire wedge right there and you're trying to get that to all match up without just stretching your tunnel towards it or anything like that, it made it so much easier just dealing with one portion at a time. And so I was able to just go ahead, fit the front in, got it to fit really nice and tight. And as you can see back here, and even back in this area here, everything touches. Everything just went right up against it. So it made it really easy. And then you've got, your radius arm support to go ahead and get your height there. All of this just landed great. And it just made life that much easier. One other thing that I will touch base with on about getting that stuff to fit. Everybody likes to beat stuff with hammers and things like that, right? And when you're hitting metal to metal, you're stretching it out, right? And so a lot of times you'll get one area to work, but it just causes a trouble in another area, okay? And so for the most part, out of everything that I'm doing, I've got my old trusty hammer there. That's my favorite, but I don't use it for that kind of stuff. I use one of these guys, okay? You can see I've been beating up against stuff for a long time. That it'll go ahead and it'll move the metal, but you're not really stretching the metal, you're not dinging the metal, anything like that. It's really just a little bit of pressure that you get to do, and you can form quite a bit with that soft hammer, and it's just a lot more forgiving. It's where if you're sitting there beating on stuff with a normal steel hammer, a lot of times, yeah, you might get that spot to work, but now you've caused trouble elsewhere, and now it's hard to work back and get back to where you were. So don't feel like using one of these is wrong. I don't use the rubber end for much of anything besides sometimes flattening out a piece of steel after I cut it. But getting this thing to all fit in nice and tight was all with just that soft mallet, you know? And it just makes all the difference in the world. So if you are having trouble getting things to line up and stuff like that, A, maybe do it in sections. Maybe it just works better that way. B, try one of these guys. Or, I used a dead blow hammer for a long time back when I used to do a lot more sheet metal work. And it just, something about it, it made easier work of trying to get complex shapes, because it's sort of like coaxing the metal into place on where you want it to go, but it's not just completely like banging into it, So it's hard to describe, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to, oh, no, you can't do it that way. But I've done it for a long, long time. And if it wasn't so hard, I'd pull the cover off of that bike over there and show you a whole lot of examples of stuff that was made mostly with a dead blow hammer, and you'd be amazed. But I don't feel like getting that out. That's from the past. So, but anyhow, floors are in. The passenger side's done. Short of, I still have to do the cross member. I have to go ahead and punch the holes, do that one, and weld just underneath the cross member at the transmission tunnel. But other than that, got the floors in. From there, I got some stuff on the bonnet, on the hood, that I got to go ahead and patch up. I've got to do my lower quarter panels, the back corners. Those are toast, and that's going to let me get in there and fix some of that inner structure. That won't be hard. I have the panels for those. And then a couple other small minor things back by, like the tail lights, things like that. And then the hardest part is going to be, I don't even want to show you. Yeah, that's going to be fun. That's going to be real fun. And then that should be all of my body work is done. So I've got all of the chassis and all that stuff's done. My body work will be done. Then we get to actually start making this thing actually feel and look more like a car. That's going to be a pretty exciting time. So I think that's just about it for now. I'm going to get back to welding. So there we go. See you later, guys.